Hi again everyone, Ken from Whittling Woods back again. Today we're going to try something a little bit on the miniature side, so to speak. 28 millimeters is what we're going to be whittling in. This is a cutoff, and I'm sure a lot of you, if you do whittling and little wood carving projects, you're going to have a lot of these little cutoffs from pieces you do. This happens to be about 17 millimeters, across, and the piece we're going to be whittling here, similar to this, is about 28 millimeters. If you prefer inches, it's 1 1/8 inch and 11/16 across, and it's squared off. So there you go. And this is going to be the little guy we're going to be carving. Something probably pretty close to this guy. He's little whatever he is, gnome, hillbilly, I don't know, whatever. He's just a little kind of figure there, and they're pretty straightforward, pretty easy. The most difficult thing is the fact that it's pretty small. If you're going to be doing these, don't cut the piece out first. Don't cut 20 millimeters and then whittle on that. Keep it in a larger stick like this so you can hold on to it. But what I'm going to do here is just use a saw and cut just slightly, into the wood, just like a 1/16 of an inch or so, just around. It just makes it easier to separate when we're all done. So let me do that. I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to be using the old Stanley 199 for this one. I've had a couple videos on how I use this knife and how I get the blades ready, so if you're interested in that, go check it out. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description below. But that's all. You can use any knife. You don't have to use this. I just happen to have it handy, and but if you have a regular whittling knife, by all means, pocket knife, whatever you want to do. First thing we're going to do is come down maybe about a third, give or take, from the top. Give or take, it doesn't matter. We're going to establish where the bottom of the hat is going to be. So just kind of as a reference, I'm just going to put a mark in there. Just so we know. And but first, I guess the best thing to do here is really just take down the edges a bit. We're going to be rounding this piece out, so we can definitely afford to take down some of these edges. So something like that, and even down here where the boots are going to be. This is going to be the front over here. So there you go. So again, let's put a mark in here and a little soft cut, and we'll just kind of cut up to that. Just as a reference, so to speak. When I put the hats on these little figures, I kind of slope them a little bit towards the back. So if you can kind of see, I'm not going straight across. I'm kind of sloping it down just a bit. It's a stylistic, preference that I have. If you don't like that, then choose another way, I guess, to do that. But that's all. Something like so. And then same thing on the other side. Just kind of come down, slope it a little bit. Don't worry too much if it's not exact. It might not match the other side perfectly, but that's okay. And there you go. This is just kind of to establish where the base of the hat is going to be. Or bottom of the hat, I should say. And I'm going to do my best to keep everything in the camera. It's going to be a little challenging because I'm kind of zoomed in over here, but I want you to see what I'm doing. So next thing we're going to do is sort of work on narrowing the front of the face here a bit. We're going to kind of bring this in because, again, his nose and beard and everything will be right in that area. So kind of like that. Next, we're going to just start to take down the hat just a bit. So bring it back. And you can see you can turn these into a lot of different things. You could make little Santa figures, and maybe I'll do a video as we get closer to the holiday season of a little tiny Santa, which I guess would be kind of cool to put on a small tree as an ornament, maybe give as a gift, attach it to a card. Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. These are, like I said, easy whittles to do. They don't take that much time. Pretty much the most difficult thing, and why most beginners would maybe shy away from it, is the fact that they're so small. But if you keep the piece long that you're working on, like I'm doing, you're holding down here, your hand's pretty much away from where you're going to be cutting. So it does provide a bit of a safety margin for you. So we're just going to kind of round the figure out. That's all I'm really doing here. Just kind of going around and beginning to round it out. You can see just taking down the edges just a little bit. All right. And then I'm going to narrow the face area just a little bit more because we're going to get ready to kind of cut where the nose is going to be. So maybe just bring it down a little bit more. Something like that. So if you can see how that looks. And then the nose, we're going to come down, oh, I'd say, you know, maybe if you look at the bottom of the hat and you divide this up into threes, maybe come down about a third of the way, give or take. So there you go. Something along that line right there, I think looks good. We'll put a little stopcoat in for the base of the nose and just cut right up to that. So I'll show you from the side. You see how that is? That's all. And then angle the nose back from the top there. So we're angling it back. There you go. Let me get this out of the way. And pretty good. Deepen it just a bit. So there you go. Now what I like to do is just, actually, you know what, let me narrow this down just a little bit, make it easier for us to cut. And begin, you know, all this is shaping the nose, so there you go. And then just come in here with a line. You're going to go from slightly angled like so, and like so. That's all. He's going to have a bit of a chubby nose. Come in here with your knife, make a stop cut. Again, you're going to be a little deeper up at the top over here, and just put it down, bring it down to the cheek level, and then make another little stop cut right at the base of the hat, and go back and remove that wood. There you go, something like that. And then do the same thing on this side. Knife in the wood, a little deeper at the top. Come back around and go in the wood there and take out that little chunk of wood. That's it. And then you sort of have the beginning of the nose. What I like to do then is, actually let me deepen that just a little bit more over there. You want to get the part up the top of the nose and where the eye area is going to kind of be in here. You want to get that as, you know, as a little deeper than everything else. So that's kind of the deepest spot on your face. All right. All right, so there you go. Angle up the nose just a bit on each side, and you sort of have something like that. It's pretty straightforward. What I like to do, and you don't have to necessarily do this, but you can put a little mark over here and a little mark over there, just as guides, just to make a little nostril. So we're going to come in here with our knife on where that mark is, put it straight in the wood, kind of like so, not too deep, and then just cut up to it and down to it. And just take out a little chunk of wood. So if you can kind of see it forms a bit of a nostril. You know, the detail on these tiny little pieces is you know, it's kind of hard to achieve an immense amount of detail, but especially using a whittling knife or something along those lines. And then we'll kind of just round that out a little bit more on both sides. And I kind of come in here and I start rounding it a bit too. And a little bit on the top I want to remove. So there you go. So something along those lines. Pretty straightforward. So what the next thing we can do is maybe come up about 1/8 of an inch or so from the bottom. We're going to establish where his kind of his top of his boots are going to be. So probably right about there looks good. and just put a little stop cut in and kind of cut up to that. And we'll worry about the rounding the boots out and separating those in a little bit. What we're going to do here is kind of come down to about the midway point, so right about the midway point of the piece, and just carry that line right across on both sides. So this is going to establish where his boots are going to kind of be peeking out from his little, whatever he's wearing, shirt, robe, or whatever, coat. So something like so. That's all. And do the same thing on the other side. Just stop cut. Again, most whittling is just making stop cuts and then, you know, cutting up to that stop cut. That's what a lot of it is. So there you go. Pretty easy. And then we're just going to keep rounding it out. Here, a little bit more. What I like to do now is consider where the hair is going to end on the back, and I think maybe halfway looks pretty reasonable. Halfway between the hat and the bottom of the figure, so right about there looks pretty good, I guess. And then just put a stop cut and cut up to that. So we can take our where our hair is going to be and just kind of carry this around. The pencil marks are just guides, so it makes it easier for you to kind of see what you're doing. And you know, we'll come up over here, and just bring the hair around, kind of like so, something along those lines. And then just again, make your stop cuts, cut up to it, stop cut, cut up to it, you know, just defining where the hair is, that's all. Excuse some of these odd angles. I'm trying to keep it in the frame here, and that way you can see. So kind of like that. We just define where his hair will be. That's all. So if you can see how that looks. So we got the nose, we got the hair. Next thing we're going to do is kind of establish where his beard is going to be. And so let's see here. I just kind of start rounding some of this out a little bit. I think for the beard, we'll probably carry that, I'm guessing, let's say, we're going to carry that down here a little bit. It'll kind of come to where almost the bottom of his little robe over here. And then it'll tie in kind of like so. So this is going to define the bottom of the beard over here, kind of like that. Just go around, and again, another stop cut, cut up to it. If you can do little stop cuts, you can whittle. It's actually a pretty easy hobby to get into and do. And you know, there's plenty of online, they're all over the place, online tutorials like mine, people showing you different ways to whittle and wood carve and everything, so, which is great. Back in the day when I started, it was just books that you had, but now we can all show each other how we do our whittling projects, which is kind of cool because everybody has a different way of doing things, and there's no right way or wrong way to do it. It's the key to this, and I've said this many times, is have fun. That's all. So there you go. It's pretty straightforward. You can see we got where his beard is going to be, and we got his nose in there. Next thing we're going to do is define kind kind of where the top of the beard is. So we're just going to bring a line up from where the nose is on each side, kind of like so. So go in here with your knife and put a little cut in here. I like to kind of cut up to it because I like the cheeks to look a little chubbier on the top. So kind of like that. And then same thing on the other side. Again, excuse the, I'm sorry about the angle here. Kind of like so. What I like to do is make sure the area, if you can see around the nose over here, it's kind of difficult, I know, but take out a little bit of chunk of wood over here. It's kind of where the nostril, where we put that little cut from the nostril, if you can see. Just like that. It just kind of defines it a little bit better, the cheek. And then same thing on this side. We're just taking out this tiny little triangle over here along the base of the nose and the cheek. It's kind of a fussy little cut to make, but you know, and I don't know that it's absolutely necessary to do. So if you don't want to do that, then don't. But that's it. So there we go. All right, we got the beard, we got the cheeks. We're going to deepen these eyes just a bit, or the area where his eyes. He's not going to have any eyes in this particular thing. It's way too tiny to kind of. He's got his eyes kind of tucked under his little hat over here. So that's that. What we could do is kind of put the indication maybe of a little mustache over here. So maybe we'll draw a line. Maybe it'll curve down like this and curve down like that, and then maybe a little bit up here. You don't have to do this, I don't think, but well, what the heck, we'll give it a shot. So that, and then cut down to that. Kind of like so, and then underneath, and then cut up to that. So kind of like that. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll just put a little line. And again, I know this angle is a little weird to follow, but it's the only way we're going to be able to do it and keep it in the camera. So there's that. And then we cut down to that one. So we kind of defined a little bit of a mustache as well in there. Again, not absolutely necessary, but you know, still kind of fun. Let's take the hat back just a little bit more. Make sure we're getting rid of most of the edges. We don't want to make him look too square. He's cool, he's not square. There you go. For the boot separation, let's just kind of find the middle spot. You know, use your mustache and nose, everything as a guideline. I'm sorry, stick your knife in the wood like so. Put a little stop cut up at the top, and then take out a chunk of wood over there. Come back around, take out a chunk of wood over there, and then we'll start rounding these out. So bring the boots in just a bit. Kind of like so, if you can see how that was done. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side here. Just kind of take it and, like the tip of your boot, your shoe. Just round it out a bit. Pretty easy, huh? And I guess what we could do here is, and again, probably something that's not absolutely necessary, but let's put a little cut right here, like so. Something like that. A cut there and then a cut there, if you can see. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Maybe a cut there, and then we'll tie that in over there, give an indication that he's got some kind of hands coming out in a pocket over here. So we'll just put our knife in and then cut down to that. And then on the bottom here, we'll put our knife in and cut up to that. So it kind of defines, you can kind of see, it sort of defines a little bit of a hand area in there. And then maybe round out the piece over here, you know, where his arm goes into the pocket. That's all. And do the same thing on the other side. You know, you're going to put your cut in here, like so, where the pocket begins, and then cut down to that as if it's going in. And then over here, we'll put our knife in the wood and cut up to that. So it kind of looks like there's a bit of a hand in there. And just round off that piece as it goes into the hand, into the pocket. So there you go. So part of it's tucked under his beard and the rest is slightly exposed. It just, you know, it may not be completely obvious, but you can kind of get the idea that that's what we're doing over there. And that's really about all. I'm just going to start rounding this off. What I like to do for the hat, they add a little bit of details. Let's cut it back a bit. And now, before I finish up on the hat, let's just do this hair. You can put little knot. You don't have to do this, but you know, if you want to, put little notches to define the bottom of his hair. Just kind of go around and do that. It just adds, you know, that just a little bit more detail. All right, same thing. Just kind of go around. So there you go. So that way it looks like he's got, you know, you can kind of tell that that's hair because it's separating. And you just kind of handle it like that. Alrighty. Let's get rid of some of these little pencil marks here. So they look a little confusing. So for his hat, what you could do, if you want, is you can make it look like it's kind of folding over. Let's do it on this side. So I could put a notch in there, and I just kind of cut down to that. I don't know if you can see how that's what I did over there. Take this hat back a little bit more, and then we'll start angling it over. So again, it looks like his hat's kind of turning over that way a bit. Again, you can make it pointy. You could put if you're doing like a little Santa figure, put a little pom-pom on the top. But we're just carving this guy like this. Kind of like so. And then we can start taking the hat down. What I like to do is take these little cuts like this. It sort of adds a bit of you know, looks like it's the hat's kind of folding over a bit. You know, little wrinkles and as the hat's sitting on his head. This adds a bit of dimension to it, that's all. kind of like so. A little Gnome kind of figure. He's pretty much done. Didn't take too long. Let me clean him up and I'll be right back. Okay, cleaned it all up, and here you go. What I'm going to do next is cut it off and give it a quick painting and show you what that looks like. But that's basically it. I just, you know, you can see, I just want to give you a look at it unpainted so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. You know, these are pretty straightforward to do. So let me cut it out and give it a quick painting, and I'll be right back. Okay, there he is. All cut out and painted up. Went with a crazy paint scheme here. I wanted to give him green hair. Seemed like some type of woodland gnome, woodland critter. So just come on, crazy green hair. He's got an orangey colored hat on, yellow shoes, a little pink around his nose, polka dotted, you know, coat, robe, whatever you want to call it. You know, just fun, little quirky little thing. 28 millimeters from the tip of the hat to the feet. Fun little project to do. Didn't take very long at all, and you can turn them into a lot of different things. Like I said, maybe next time we'll do a little Santa figure or something like that. But let me know in the comments how you feel, if you like it, if you don't like it, what you would like to see in this format, and maybe we'll give something else a try. I didn't mention in the beginning of the video, this was a piece of basswood, by the way, just so you know. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. Have a great carving week. Talk to you soon.